Okay, it's Friday. Welcome back to the Man Cave for another Friday night live stream. It's uh it's been a difficult week here at the Man Cave. I've had a really rough time. I got off to a good start. Got some cooking done early in the week, but Thursday night, early into Friday morning, or I'm sorry, was it? No, it was Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We had some remnants of one of these tropical storms. I don't know which one it is. I hadn't been paying attention to them, but between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. it dropped 4.5 inches of rain here, and my man cave basement's gotten flooded, and it's a mess down here right now. I'm trying to get everything dried back out where I can get back into production. So it happens here occasionally when we get some really serious rain. This basement that I work in was not originally a finished basement, and it's taking on some water. And I guess Thursday morning when I came down here, it was really a mess. I was really pissed off as usual. So uh, that's how my week's been so far. And I am drinking tonight. We're gonna drink, but uh, we're gonna change gears a little bit here. I've got this pint of the Elijah Craig. This is just their baseline stuff. It's the small batch, um, just the basic Elijah Craig small batch. I think this is, I don't know what you call this in Elijah Craig's line. It's their baseline. There's nothing fancy about this. This is their equivalent to, like Jack's old number 7, and we're going to have a couple fingers of this one tonight. If you're having a drink with me, let me know what you're having. I did a little shopping today. My wife and I were out running around. Actually, you might be able to see that big box on the stovetop behind me. That big black box. I picked up a bottle of the Jack Daniel's Sinatra Select. This Elijah Craig is good. It's really got a sweet flavor. It's one of the sweeter bourbons I've had, so I like it. I was looking today at the other options Elijah Craig has. I really want a bottle of that Toasted Barrel, but I can't find it. Yeah, and even the guy at Total, I went to Total Wine in Greensboro, South Carolina, or Greenville, South Carolina, and I'm standing there looking, and the guy keeps coming up to me asking if he can help me. I must not look like I know what I'm doing. I probably don't, in the most part, when it comes to whiskey and bourbon. And of course, I asked about this Toasted Barrel Elijah Craig, and he just shook his head. He said, "Yeah, we got a little bit of it when it first came out, and we haven't seen any more since." So that's kind of a unicorn. Maybe it's kind of a hard one to get. And yeah, I see people telling me to try a lot. There's a lot of things I'm going to try, and the whiskey tasting scene is new for me. I've been drinking whiskey for years, but I've never really uh, taken the time to try to enjoy the flavor of it so much. So yeah, we're gonna be trying a lot of things. I don't have a whole lot yet. I've got mostly Jack Daniels. This Elijah Craig that I've got, I just bought it. I keep Knob Creek on hand and Maker's Mark. Those are two that I drink or cook with. And I've got, if I try to remember next week, I've got something I want to show you that I've done with some of my Knob Creek. But yeah, we're not having beer tonight. I don't have any beer in my refrigerator right now that's new that I haven't already done on here. I've got to drink up some of this stuff I've bought and get through it before I buy some more beer. So maybe we'll do do another whiskey next week maybe, or a bourbon. This is bourbon. I'm learning. There's a difference between whiskey and bourbon, but there ain't much of a difference. They're basically the same thing. It depends on who you ask. The guys at Jack Daniels, they don't make whiskey. They make Tennessee whiskey at Jack Daniels, and it is a different process. But Jack Daniels could be called bourbon, but don't tell the guys at Jack Daniels that because it's a Tennessee whiskey. But it fits fits most of the recipe for bourbon, if I remember correctly. Anyway, don't quote me on any of that, and I don't want to start a fight about what's what when it comes to this. I know more about barbecue than I do about bourbon, so take everything I say about bourbon with a grain of salt. One of the things I've been playing with this week cooking is chicken wings. I've been trying to get some taste testing going on with this Wing Zing product that Atlanta Grill Company's put out. These bags of Wing Zing, they're 12-ounce bags of seasoning. And the philosophy, if I understand this correctly, is you cook your wings what's called naked. You don't put anything on the wings while you're cooking them. And then when the cook's done, you add this dust and create the flavor. I was talking to some of my buddies on here last week, or earlier in the week about that, and I got the lowdown from them on what to do. So when you're done cooking, I put my wings in a mixing bowl and toss them in a little melted butter, and then toss just a little bit of this Wing Zing seasoning on there, and the butter helps the seasoning stick to the wings. And the first bag of this stuff I opened up was the garlic parmesan, and man, it's good. It's really good on some wings. I did, I don't know, I did a dozen or so wings on the Pellet Joe, and they came out really well. I made video, but I'm going to chuck that video and I'm going to do it again because I'm going to change a little bit of my technique. Everything didn't come out exactly like I wanted it to, but it came out well. Everything was good. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight is how I cook my chicken wings. I do mine different. Or it appears that I do mine differently from most. The first thing I do that may be different from a lot of you is that I don't buy the party wings that are already in the bags, frozen, cut down. I just buy the whole chicken wings at the grocery store, and I typically buy the inexpensive ones. And I'm trying to remember what I pay for them. They're less than $3 a pound. They're not very expensive, but the reason I do this, there's a couple of benefits to buying the whole wing. The first benefit that I see for buying the whole wing is that it's bigger. When you cut that whole wing down, the pieces you end up with are bigger, and they have more meat on them than these party wings that I've bought in the past. Now, if there's party wings out there that have a lot more meat on them than maybe what I'm seeing, tell me what to look for, because I don't know. I've only seen what they've got at like Sam's and Costco, or in the frozen food case or the frozen meat case at the grocery store. Those things are pretty anemic looking. They're kind of small, but I like to buy the whole wing and cut it down myself. The first thing I do is I just cut the wingtip off because it's not good for anything, but I'll throw them in a vacuum seal bag and hang on to them until I'm ready to make stock, because those are great to add to stock, or they're great if you're making stock. I like to roast those. I like to brown them up really good before I toss them in to make stock with them. But I cut the wingtip off, and like I said, I either toss it or I freeze it, depending on what I need. Then I've got I don't know what they call it. They call one side of that the drumette, and I guess the other side the flat. And there's a flap of skin. When you pull those two guys apart, there's a flap of skin connecting the two, and you open that up and run your knife right down through that flap of skin, and the anatomy will guide you to the joint with the knife. And that knife will just fall right through that joint. You're not having to cut through bone to separate these two pieces. I'm going to do a video sometime here. I thought about this week. I'm going to do a video on how to break down a chicken, and I'll try to remember to show this particular part of that when I do it where you can see it up close, because the part of the chicken you're looking at in relation to a human is the drumette is the upper arm, the flat is the forearm, and the wingtip is like the hand on a bird. So we're coming to this joint right here. That drumette's got two bones in it. Or I'm sorry, the flat has got two bones in it, which is like your radius and your ulna and your lower arm. But they connect to a single bone that's in this part, but you can fall right down between those two bones with a knife. It'll fall through there once you find it. And like I said, the knife, the anatomy just kind of guides you there if it's bent. So if it's not, you can cut down in there and kind of peel it back, and it'll expose itself for you, and you can just slide the knife right through it. You don't have to cut through bone. So if you're into making wings, try this instead of buying the party wings. Give that a shot. So once I have those guys cut apart, I like to rinse mine off and then pat them dry with a paper towel. Some people like to do that and some don't. So do that or not. And actually, before we get to that point, there's a question if you're going to brine your wings or not. I don't have anything against brining wings. In fact, it might be a good idea in a lot of cases. The problem with brining a wing is brining is salting the meat, and if you're going to put a salty seasoning on afterwards, you're going to run into problems. And if you leave the salt out of a brine, you're not really brining it. But there might be some advantage to a brine that's got a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar, because I think the sugar that is going to get into the skin and on the outer surface of the meat actually helps improve the browning of that meat when you throw it on the grill. So brine it if you want to. Don't brine it if you don't want to. So rinse them, pat them dry. I like to get them as dry as I can with just a couple of clean paper towels, and then I'll put them on a tray spread out evenly where they're not overlapped too much, and I toss them in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours, and 4 hours is even better. And the refrigerator helps dry those out even more, because the drier you can get that chicken wing before it goes on the grill, the better it's going to cook for you, the crisper your skin's going to get. So I have great results doing that. I don't have to mess around with all these tricks people use of tossing them in cornstarch. Cornstarch or flour. I think that cornstarch and flour are really misleading the result a little bit, because what you're doing is you're actually adding something to the chicken that's going to create a crispness of its own. That cornstarch or the flour is going to absorb some water, and it's going to create a crispy skin, or it's not going to really crisp the skin. It's creating a thin breading that's going to crisp up. But if you enjoy doing that, go ahead and do it. I don't do it. After I've got them dried in the refrigerator, what I like to do is toss them in just a little bit of olive oil and get just a thin coat of olive oil on the outside of these wings. And then at that point, they're ready to go on the grill. And when I'm cooking wings, I cook indirect, and I like to cook hot. I like to cook at 425 to 450. And I'll just put my wings on there. I'll typically put the skin side up. And usually you can start looking at that wing at about 30 minutes. And somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes, you're probably going to determine if that wing's ready. I don't put temperature probes in my wings. If I did that and took my wings off when the internal temperature of that meat reached 160 or 165 degrees, I've got rubber skin no matter how I cook them. That meat's going to end up getting a lot hotter than that to cook it get the crispness that you might want in the wing or in the skin. If you don't care about the skin and are more interested in the perfect temperature of the meat, take it off whenever you get it temped where you want it. But I don't think I've ever put a temperature probe in a chicken wing to see where it falls. Let me know how you do yours. You know, do you leave me a comment how you figure out when your chicken wings are ready. I just do it by looking at them, and I like my skin to be a specific way on that wing, and that's when I take it off. I take it off the grill. Before it goes on the grill, you've got an option. You can season it. You know, we put olive oil on it. If you want to go ahead and season it with something before it goes on the grill, you can do that too. That's the way I used to do it before I was introduced to the dusts that are designed to go on after you cook the wing. And both ways make great wings so far from what I've seen. I would just put a rub, some sort of rub mixture on my wings that doesn't have too much sugar in it or any sugar in it. The sugar scorches pretty nicely when you let it stay on a 450-degree grill for any length of time, and it's not necessarily bad. I like a little bit of char on my chicken wings, but I like the skin to be what's charred rather than the sugar that's in the rub. So season it before, season it after. It's up to you once again. I'd love to know how you do it. I've tried it a lot of different ways. Then the question is, do you want to cook direct or indirect? I always cook indirect. That way I don't mess with flipping too much. But every now and then I'll decide I want to cook over direct heat. And when I do, I try to get the temperature in the grill somewhere around 400 degrees at the dome on a Kamado or in the dome of a gas grill if you're cooking on gas. 400 degrees works pretty well. And over direct flame, when I'm elevated, I like to flip the wings every 10 or 12 minutes. I like to keep them turning, to keep them cooked evenly and get a kind of an even char all the way around the wing. It's once again, there's not a right or a wrong way to do it. It's all about your preference. See, there's somebody just asked about, Tom's talking about saucing. I've never sauce a wing till it comes off the grill. That's just me. And once I take the wing off the grill, in this case, I'm either going to toss it in some melted butter and then add my dust, my wing zing, or if I'm going to sauce it, I just toss it in the sauce after it comes off the grill. I like for my sauce to be warm, though. I don't like to toss my wings in a cold or a room temperature sauce, so a lot of times I'll have a little saucepan on the grill for the last 15 minutes or so of my cook, letting the sauce warm up and get nice and warm. A traditional buffalo sauce is great on wings, and if I remember correctly, a traditional homemade buffalo sauce is like half butter, half hot sauce, and it's not a super hot sauce. You use something like Frank's Red Hot or the Valentina's is really good to make chicken wings with, or make a sauce, or Texas Pete. Those all make really. In fact, the Texas Pete has a buffalo wing sauce recipe right on the jar, right on the bottle it comes in. Haven't looked at that stuff in a long time, but it really makes a good standard buffalo sauce. So, yeah, you heat the butter and the sauce together and just toss your wings in it after they're cooked. So, my indirect cooks, like I said, go 30 to 40 minutes normally. Direct is about 400 in the dome, and I turn them frequently, then I toss in the sauce. I think I've covered most of the possible ways that I cook buffalo wings. That's good. The Elijah Craig, this is the first bottle of that I've ever bought. It's nothing fancy. This isn't the first glass of it I've had, but it's the first Elijah Craig I bought. I was talking to some people online, and I'm learning about bourbon and whiskey, and there's a lot of people out there that say that their go-to is the Elijah Craig. It's very affordable, and it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to trying some additional varieties of the Elijah Craig. So the in terms of cooking, I don't think there's a lot more I wanted to talk about this week. I posted my cranberry sauce video this week, and for those of you that have seen that, I want to make sure if you're interested in making my cranberry sauce recipe, pay close attention to the information that I wrote in the post that goes along with that, because there's a key there. After I made that video, but before I had edited it, I had posted a picture, and somebody came on and posted that they were going to stick with the canned stuff because the homemade cranberry sauce that they had in the past was all too bitter. And I got to thinking about that, and cranberries are bitter. They really are. And I got to thinking about my recipe, and the salt. The reason my recipe has salt in it is to counter that bitterness. But I didn't put a quantity of salt to use in that recipe because it's going to be a salt to taste. You kind of have to taste this stuff as you go, and you just add little bits of salt at a time until that bitterness goes away. The cranberry sauce is not going to taste salty, but what happens is the salt gets in a fight on your tongue with the bitter, and it balances them out nicely. So you see the sauce come together as you're working on it. The bitterness goes away, and this beautiful sweetness comes through. And you can't fix the bitterness of cranberries by adding sweet. You can't add sugar. You can't fix it by adding sugar or molasses or maple syrup or anything like that. You just have to add. You need to add the salt to fix that, and it does take care of it. So if you're going to try my cranberry sauce, keep that in mind. And in fact, since that's so easy to make, I said in the video, it only takes 15 minutes to put that together. You might want to do a trial run of it if you've never done it before. Try it first, and then if you're not happy with it or can't make it into something you really like, then buy your cranberry sauce. But I hate to see somebody buy cranberry sauce when it's that easy to make. So I got the cranberry sauce made. I also made some grill roasted green beans and carrots. I haven't got that video edited yet. I'm normally would have posted that video today, but it's going to be tomorrow. I've got to get some more stuff done. Like I said, the flood that I've had here in my basement's got me slowed down this week. But I will have that video online tomorrow. Then we'll be back on schedule. I took my big Smithy cast iron pan, and I actually cooked on the pellet Joe. But I took some green beans, and I minced some garlic and tossed it in some olive oil along with some freshly and finely shredded parm, and tossed the green beans in that. Put the green beans on one half of the pan, and I made a maple syrup and balsamic kind of marinade for the baby carrots. Put them on the other side of the pan and just threw them on the grill at 400 degrees until everything looked good. And it's a real simple cook, but it's a perfect thing to do, like for a Thanksgiving meal. If you got to let your turkey rest for a while, and this takes 30 minutes to cook, and you can cook it at 400 degrees. So it's something perfect to throw on the grill while you're resting your turkey. And when those veggies come off the grill, it just goes straight to, you're ready to go straight to the table while those are hot. I went back and actually put on a little bit of grated mozzarella on top of those green beans near the end of the cook, just long enough for that to melt and look nice. And they tasted delicious. They were really, really good. So that's the cooking I did. I wanted to get 2 more videos done this week, and I didn't get either one of them done. I'm going to make mashed potatoes. I'm going to make a mashed potato dish, or just mashed potatoes. I'm probably going to do something that's hopefully just going to be great. I I'm going to make probably a garlic parmesan mashed potato recipe, and uh, I'm going to make a pumpkin pie, but I'm going to change things up. My pumpkin pie recipe that I made on the Kamado Joe channel, I'm going to modify it a little bit. I'm going to use my same pumpkin pie filling recipe, but I'm going to change up the crust. I found an Alton Brown recipe, and I'm just going to blatantly steal Alton Brown's crust, because he made a cookie crumb crust for a pumpkin pie. He made it out of ginger snaps. And the reason I know this is going to be amazing is because I tried it on something else recently. I made a no-bake pumpkin cheesecake that didn't turn out well enough for me to show you the video. It's one of those situations where the taste was good, everything tasted great, it just didn't look good. But I made a ginger snap cookie crust for that's very similar to this, what I saw Alton Brown do. So, and no, Mom would never approve of the crust change. Whoever just asked me, Tom, my mom would never go for that. I told Mom about it, but I would never get Mom approval on that. But it's you take your food processor and you put ginger snap cookies in it, and you just pulverize them until you've got a really fine cookie crumb. You drizzle in some butter, and I think, if I remember correctly, Alton also put in a little extra ground ginger into that, and then he formed it into his pie pan, and then he par baked it for about 10 minutes or so to kind of firm that up a little bit before he put his pie filling in it and put it back. Alton doesn't cook on the grill; he cooks in the oven. But that's what I'm gonna do, and it should make a really good pie. My pumpkin pie has cream cheese in it. It's a little different from your average pumpkin pie, but it's delicious. And don't tell my mom I told you this, but in a blind taste test, my pumpkin pie performed better than her pumpkin pie a couple Thanksgivings ago with my brother-in-law as the judge. He liked mine better. But yeah, that's what I've got coming up this week. I'm going to do it, going to get those on for videos for next week for holiday cooking. I'm finished with my homemade bacon. Homemade bacon's coming up, but that's going to come up right at Thanksgiving. I'll post that probably. I think Thanksgiving Day falls on. I'm not sure what I've got lined up for Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day's on a Thursday and Friday. The homemade bacon video will probably be. It might come up on that Thursday, because on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, I've got a plan. I want to hopefully put out a turkey pot pie video where I've used leftover turkey to make something really good, because I know hopefully everybody that's going to cook turkey is going to have leftovers. I know that's a big thing. Everybody likes to have those leftovers. So, prime rib in December, the first week of December, I've got two things related to prime rib that are coming. I have taken the time to write a document that's like my Turkey 101 document, if any of you have seen that. It's called Prime Rib 101. It's not quite as long as the turkey document because there's just not as much to talk about when it comes to prime rib. But I bought a prime rib at Costco last week, but I finally heard back from my contact at Porter Road. I had sent my contact over there an email about getting a prime rib from them so I could get it cooked and get a video out early in December. And when I asked her for this back in October, and I got an autoresponder message from her that she's out on maternity leave and is not coming back for a while. So she says, if you need an answer, ask this person. So I asked the second person that she recommended, and I never got an answer. But her name's Kara, and she sent me an email back the day before yesterday and said, Here's the link. We don't have them in yet because that is kind of a seasonal item for them. She said, but we're taking pre-orders. And I posted this on the Man Cave Meals page. If any of you are interested in Porter Road and buying from Porter Road as much as I am, have a look at my link because their holiday stuff is all on that one page. And I ordered a prime rib. I've got one of the Porter Road prime ribs coming, but it's not going to be here till the end of November. It's going to be here before Thanksgiving. I think they said it would arrive on the 25th or something like that because they've got turkeys also. They've got some really nice looking turkeys. If you're interested in a really good turkey, there's an opportunity there to get one, but you have to pre-order it. That way, those of you who do order from Porter Road like I do, you know that a lot of times you'll go there to order something and they're out of stock. But they're taking care of that this time by taking pre-orders. And I guess if they get to the point where they can't fill the pre-orders, they'll cut them off maybe. But I got a prime rib coming, and I'm excited about that because I've bought 2 prime ribs from them in the past, and they're amazing. They're worth every penny of what I paid for those. So that's where we are there. I don't have much planned for the latter part of December yet. I want to do, I do. Fruitcake's coming. I think we talked about that. I'm going to do the fruitcake again, and I might do candied yams. I'm not a huge fan of sweet potatoes, but I might do a candied yams recipe for you. So that's where we are. And the gadget this week, I had a hard time trying to decide what I wanted to talk about for a gadget this week. Some of you have seen this before, and some of you haven't. I should have saved the box. This is called the Sparkr WICK. And I've got 2 of these things, and I guess I forgot to take that label off of this one. This, it's Sparkr, Sparkr WICK. These are available on Amazon. I don't remember the company's name. It's Power something. But what this is a USB rechargeable lighter. And out here on the end of this, there's these 4 little prongs. And I know that's not going to focus, but when I press the button, it's a plasma lighter. And this thing is great for lighting your barbecue fire starters. I use this to light up the little square Kamado Joe fire starters. I use it to light up the tumbleweed or newspaper or whatever. And it works really well. It's rechargeable. And I guess I should have looked up what I paid for that. I think this was $30. $30 on Amazon. This is a perfect gift item for somebody. If you want to buy a gift for a barbecue guy who's already got everything, I bet he doesn't have this. This is perfect. This is a really awesome little gift. Sparkr WICK, and that's Sparkr. And yeah, I did get this on Amazon. And actually, I had a warranty issue with one of them, so I did have to deal with the company direct, but they sent me a replacement right away, no questions asked. But this is perfect. I don't know how, it's cool, it's overkill, but man, that's what we're all about when it comes to barbecue and the tools we use. So yeah, give this a shot. Power Practical, yeah. Cannon Taylor says Power Practical. That's the name of the company that makes this. But I don't remember where I saw this initially, but as soon as I saw it, I went and found one and ordered it, and I've been using it ever since to light my grill. It's just real easy, and the charge on it it lasts for quite a long time. It's got a light back here. This little button, this is the button. You have to hit it 3 times to power it up. And the light comes on when it's powered up. But it tells you when the battery's low. When this battery gets low, when you power it up, that light will be flashing. and that'll remind you that you need to plug it in and charge it. But I'll use this thing for a couple of months between charges because I use this and I use a propane torch to light my grill some. So I don't use that every time I light the grill, but it lasts a really long time. So perfect gift item. Check that out. And if you get one, let me know what you think about it. So that's about all I've got for you tonight. It's been a long day. And like I said, I'm still not done cleaning up the mess from the flood. So I guess with that, I'll call it a night. And until next time, this is John Setzler at the Man Cave.